So back on January 17th of 2016, Pedro and I recorded our top 10 games of 2015. At that time, of course, in 2015, right when it ended, you can't play everything. So it's 2022. It's February 1st, and I'm going to look back at 2015 and tell you, did I play those games I talked about? Did I rate the games the same? What are my opinions now with 6 years in between now and then? So I talked about some games I hadn't played yet that were on our list. Posthuman, Big Book of Madness, Blood Rage, Forbidden Stars, Seven Wonders Duel. So let's talk about those quickly. Posthuman, didn't really care for it that much. It's okay. I got another Kickstarter from them, still unplayed. I don't know that it will make it. Big Book of Madness ended up being a really good cooperative game. Liked that one quite a bit. Blood Rage, excellent. This one took the board gaming world by storm, and I have since played it a lot of times, decked out it, got expansions. That is a very good set. Forbidden Stars, I bought a painted set, still haven't played it. It's one that's going to be very hard for me to get to the table. 6 years later, still been unable to do it. Seven Wonders Duel ended up being a great two-player. Ended up being a well-received two-player game that a lot of people like. I like it too, but I like Lincoln's Assassination. It's been released since then, just a little bit more. I had some honorable mentions back then before I jumped into my list. Elysium, The Game, Little Red Riding Hood, New York 1901. Now, New York 1901 is interesting because it was very well received at the time, and I don't hear much about it anymore, and I don't get to play it a whole lot more. Stockpile, Dark Seas, Bring Out Your Dead, and Area 1851. I wonder if Area 1851 would make today's list. Have I played it since then? Not too much, and a lot of these probably stay in the area of honorable mention. I don't think that these are things that moved up on my list too much, although I'm not going to give any spoilers away about the list today. Now, looking back at some of the lists that I made, let's see, Grand Austrian Hotel, that just got re-released with a big expansion and got with better components. I had Sylveon, which is a great one-player game. I play that one a lot more on the app nowadays. At number 8, I had Argonauts. That is a game and a game company at the time I was really looking forward to, but their post-release of 2015 did not hit me the way Argonauts did. That was a company I was really, really behind, and I have Xerxes I didn't play as much, and some of the other games in Amazonians I haven't played quite yet, but they just didn't draw me in the same way. I had Lewis and Clark Discoveries, a dice game of Lewis and Clark. Thinking about it now, I think I would go back. At this point, I was saying, hey, Lewis and Clark Discoveries, I like it better than the base game. I don't think that ended up being the case 6 years later. I think when my wife and I were talking about playing Lewis and Clark, we were going to go back to the original, so I think that's where I would stay on that one. Base Pile Highlights 2045, my son ended up playing this game. We have the app. This is one of our most beloved games, to be honest. Champions of Midgard, I got the release of the expansions, and that ended up being a fantastic game. Champions of Midgard is very, very good. Get both of those expansions put in with the playmat. You are golden right there. At number 4, I had Pandemic Legacy. Now, this is a very interesting game because it was a very good experience. I felt like Part 2 was not very good, and Part 0 kind of went back to its roots. But looking back, I don't really like Legacy games that much anymore. Legacy games just, I get bored by the end of it. There's a lot of picking up and having to play it over and over and over again. And I tend to like playing different games more than going back to the same one. I got to have that same group. It's a lot of effort and work to get a Legacy game to the table. Number 3 was Mombasa. Now, this was the very first Alexander Pfister big box game that I had played. I liked it quite a bit, but I like Blackout a lot. Great Western Trails, one of my favorite games of all time. Cloud Age, I haven't got to the table yet. Maricabo's really good. And for some reason, Mombasa has fallen to the wayside in his game, so I need to get this one back to the table. And number 2, I had Automania. This is still one of my go-to, I would say gateway games, but lighter games that I really enjoy. This one really stood the test of time. Automania is an excellent pick. Glad I did that one. And number 1, I had Voyages of Marco Polo. Looking back, I'm surprised I put that at number 1. I'm surprised that Voyages of Marco Polo was able to elevate itself so high. Because looking back, it's a pretty straightforward Euro. I do like the variable powers that all feel overpowered. So it's kind of interesting I put that one back. With all that said, Voyages of Marco Polo with the expansion too, a little bit. I like the base game better than with the expansion. But It's a game I continue to go back to, my friends continue to ask for, so with that said, I guess it has stood the test of time. I don't know if this list would be the same. I'm going to be posting a top 20 games of 2015 as of February 2022. That is going to be a list I'll put up soon. Thanks for watching this. A little bit of a look back at what happened all of these years ago. What did I put up there? And some of my thoughts about what they are now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record a new video telling you what I think of these games in 2022.